So throughout the internet, I've been seeing a lot of talk saying that, oh, VGC format is stupid. People just bring the same 6 Pokemon.
Ultra Beasts are OP.
Rolodex is stupid.
What do you mean Megas are banned?
So what do you want me to do about it?
So instead of me yelling my opinion at you, which I usually do, I decided to actually leave my room and go to my local tournament house, which is AON Gaming, and ask the players what they thought of the current VGC meta. I gathered about 2 hours worth of amazing interviews from novice trainers to advanced trainers, and what I heard was quite eye-opening. So together, let's find out if Pokemon VGC is a broken system. One of the first topics I asked interviewees to cover were the changes in Megastones to Z Crystals. If you guys don't know, Megastones were actually banned and replaced with Z Crystals. To put this into perspective, Megastones have been in VGC since 2013. So after all these years of being used to one style of pretty much nuking a team, how do players feel about this?
I think they add a much larger layer of depth to the game. Whereas when you saw a Mega evolve, you kind of were just like, you had to have your checks for your Mega, like always. You don't really have checks for Z Crystals. We saw today, we saw a Poison EMZ Garchomp. Really, really cool. Helped them win some games. And it lets you build a little bit more pinpoint. You can pinpoint your issue. You know that your team struggles with Tapu Bulu, and the only thing that's going to one-shot it is a Poison EMZ. Whereas before it was, okay, let me grab my Mega and build my whole team around that. Now it's like, let me build a team, find its problems, and let my Z Crystal answer those problems.
I honestly prefer Mega Evolutions, obviously, because Mega Evolution was just such a big part of 6th Gen. It was like, it was so, like, there was so many Pokemon that were able to evolve further, and just like, Kangaskhan, no one would ever use Kangaskhan unless it had a Mega Evolution, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. But with Z Crystals, not that I'm not a fan of it, but it's like every Pokemon can use them. I don't know, I just prefer Mega Evolutions more. Maybe it's just because we're just getting introduced to Z Crystals, who knows, maybe next year I'll like Z Crystals, but for right now, it's just a new concept they're trying out. Let's see if it stays, see if it sticks, and yeah, we'll just see how it goes.
Megas to me could just sweep a whole team without even, like, I've heard stories about like one guy just using Mega Kangaskhan and sweeping team. They would just sweep teams with essentially no player skill, and like, I'm happy because it introduces the new aspect along with Z Crystals where it's like, cool, Z Crystals are these big powerful moves that are equivalent to like a Mega move. Like a Mega is like signature move, but you can only use it once, so you have to be strategic and you can't just sit there spam it, and you have to just think about it as like, oh, okay, I saw X, Y, Z in the battle box. I can use it against X and hopefully net a kill, or I can use it against Y, weaken it, and then get a guaranteed kill confirmed with another mon on my team.
As suspected, there are some players that really love Z Crystals and players that really miss Megas. Are any of their opinions really wrong, though? Not really. But what I found next really surprised me. In this year's VGC, players are limited to the amount of Pokemon they choose, only to the Pokemon in the Alola region decks. I was really surprised that players actually embraced this.
Creativity-wise, I think there's still a lot of underexplored mons, especially maybe some I haven't used today. I'm not gonna say anything just yet, but definitely some good mons I think still yet to be explored. Overall, I think I just enjoy the meta a lot right now, so I'm gonna have a little bit biased. I like everything I see so far, except I hate people that run Substore Celesteal. If that's you, I'm sorry, but I hate that style. That I don't like.
Creativity in this meta is basically the standard, because you can always do what the other person's doing. But when you bring something to the table that catches someone off guard, it's almost like you have that trump card that nobody's gonna see, because they're never gonna expect it. So bringing something that's creative can basically be your winning goal.
I think it has its pros and cons because it lets you kind of zone in on what you want to build and how you want to build it. When you have a whole dex available, it can get a little intimidating for sure. I think that Sun and Moon is it's a format that anyone can come into. If you're new to Pokemon, this is the perfect time to come into. The Pokemon pool is not large. The game is more available than ever as far as EV spreads. You're able to see your EVs in your game. You can see your IVs. You can use bottle caps. There's a lot that they've made the game a little bit more intuitive for new players to join. So I really like that.
It seems to me like every Pokemon was carefully crafted in this generation to do something well. Whatever that thing is, You know, like Salazzle outspeeds all Tapus and usually can kill them. Marowak has his uses as well as a specific counter. And while yeah, like the beasts are pretty busted, what you end up with is a diverse meta of rock, paper, scissors, where 1 week a certain Tapu might be awful, like Tapu Lele. And then 2 weeks later, everyone's playing that. And then 2 weeks after that, everyone's playing the counter to that. And then you get a nice cycle of, you know, what beats what. And that's, by most, I think, considered a healthy metagame where you can, like, if you're predicting correctly what you're going to see, you will win.
Yeah, I definitely think that terrains will definitely work and weather will always work. I feel like if you bring one of those and your opponent doesn't have a check to it, it's pretty much an easy win.
I think it's all a matter of being creative. It's all like, it's the same thing with using weather. It's the terrain wars are such a big part of it, and it doesn't matter if you have like an overpowered Tapu Bulu with grassy terrain. The second I bring out a Tapu Fini or a Tapu Koko or anything like that, it just, the terrain disappears and it's like the attack power just decreases. So it's all a matter of, you gotta play, you just gotta work as you go, basically. So I don't think they're overpowered. They're definitely different because no one really used the terrains back in 6th generation. But now that it's, you know, shown a new light with the guardians and stuff like that, and seeing how powerful they are, people are really taking advantage of those terrains. So I don't think it's a bad thing.
I've heard people argue that the Ultra Beasts are kind of in that same boat. But the neat thing with the Ultra Beasts for me is that they are literally intended for one purpose. Where looking at a Pokemon like Formosa, you've got fantastic speed, fantastic attack, and special attack, but you are paper thin. So it's a more kind of balance where if you let it get going, it will trash you, but it's also really easy to trash it in response.
The big words that we could take from this are creative, checks, and balances. These words really accurately describe the meta. But there is one topic that I was not even prepared for, and a few players brought it up. This next topic really does break the meta and make it frustrating for a lot of players to play. The topic is hacking and cheating. Here's what a few of the players had to say.
My two biggest complaints, thankfully one of them is starting to be addressed, is the use of genning and the use of like power saves and stuff like that in the game, as well as timer stalling, which is a huge frustration, especially in Pokemon standpoint, because you're essentially wasting a minute of the game doing nothing. Where if it were in a fighting game like Smash Brothers, you have all the time they're trying to eat up to stop them. In Pokemon, you're forced to wait until the actual moves can be registered. So if you pick your move but they spend the whole minute, you can't spend those 50 seconds trying to force them to make a move. So I don't think timer stalling has a place in Pokemon.
But if I were like actually in charge, I would actually crack down on all that and actually start, like, because right now, the worst I've seen is people get disqualified from an event, and that's pretty much it. But I would actually start issuing bans like the TCG does. 2 years ago, on the finals of stream, someone was caught on stream stacking their deck, like doing a form of stacking called double nickeling. The judges didn't know what it was, but the chat blew up. As soon as Pokemon found out about it, stripped of his championship and banned. Now that's what we need in VGC, because the big reason why they feel like they can get away with it is because there's like little consequences. And that's the one big thing that I believe would really improve this game drastically.
There really is a huge problem with hacking and cheating and just breaking the game in general, and it does need to be addressed, which I hope this video will open the eyes of Play Pokemon and say, hey, don't do that! You guys gotta get in trouble. You get in trouble doing that. Now, from all the data that we collected, I simply asked the players next, where do you see the future of VGC?
The future of VGC is very strong, especially since now they're growing more social. They're putting all their tournaments on Twitch and YouTube and their Pokemon website and stuff like that. They're using YouTube, they're using all these utilities for social media to like show all their Pokemon content. You saw it with Pokemon Generations when that came out. It was all on YouTube. The World Tournament was on Twitch and stuff like that. I feel like with more people seeing it instead of like having to just go to a tournament, like more people see it on social media, people are gonna want to get into it more. So I feel like there's gonna be more people now more than ever. So I honestly think it's gonna grow very big. So I'm really excited. So there's that.
If Nintendo wants to be smart, they're gonna continue doing this. They're gonna make cash prize like they've already done, which is about time. To be honest, I'm sorry. Like, not everybody goes to college. Not everybody's gonna get scholarship money. Like, oh, I got scholarship money. Great. What do I do with it? Right now, they're taking it in the right direction. They're giving cash prize. They're giving incentive. They're flying to the top players. They're paying for the top players to do their thing, to go to the tournaments and compete and whatnot. But as of right now, I think the scene is very, very nice. It's definitely going in the right direction. It's going to grow.
And to put the player in the shoes of Play Pokemon themselves, I asked them, what changes would you make to the current rule set?
I might want to keep it as is. Keep it as the Alolan Dex, because this Pokedex doesn't really have legendary Pokemon outside of Solgaleo and Lunala. So I think those are the only two that are actually banned right now that are available in the Alolan Dex, which is nice. Because last year, like we said, we had the Primals running around. So I like the fact that we basically have the entire Pokedex legal and only 2 banned Pokemon. So I don't think I would actually end up changing anything about the rule set at the moment.
I think that you would definitely have to cycle the Pokemon no matter what. You would want to, either you're expanding it, or what I would personally do is I would say, all right, all the Pokemon that were used this format cannot be used in the next format. The rest of the Dex is available. So you literally turn the format on its head entirely. Everything we've been using this whole past year, gone. Everything that would normally be available that would add to the meta, it is now the new meta.
So from all this data from actual players, it's about time we all answer this question. Is the Pokemon VGC broken? And to that, I would have to say no. Sure, we could talk about Tapus and Ultra Beasts and hacking all day long, but the one thing that I gathered from all of these interviews, that one thing that I gathered, was the sense of community. Sure, our game might be a little broken, but at the end of the day, that's up to the individual player to decide and to play despite all the jank that exists. It was these interviews that really reminded me why I'm here doing this, putting this content up on YouTube, and I'll just let them take it from here.
It's like no matter what Pokemon you have, big or small, as long as you're the right trainer, you can get it through. We need more people like that to show the outside world that this is not only legitimate, but it's something that you want to get into.
To anyone out there who wants to try VGC, I say do it. I was hesitant because I thought that what I wanted to use, the creativity things that I wanted to bring to the table, wouldn't work because everything was set in stone. Once Gen 7 came around, my mind was racing with ideas that I actually thought could work. And after participating today at AON Gaming, it's true. So if you want to try VGC, if you want to bring your ideas to life, go ahead and do it. Because Gen 7 is the chance to let that happen. And hopefully, after 2017, we'll have that option ongoing, and so on and so forth.
Honestly, Pokemon and like anime and stuff in general in gaming has taught me a lot of lessons, and like I hope Pokemon never dies. I don't see it dying anytime soon, but honestly, I love Pokemon. I hope it never dies, and it's only going to go up from here.
This is a game that I've loved ever since I got my first Pokemon game, which was Pokemon Emerald. It's so amazing to know that AON Gaming exists because it provides a place for us to hang out and compete on Long Island every single Saturday. Sure, the game might be a little buggy at times, and it's just like, oh, why did that crit me? And I will say that cheaters really do need to be dealt with more seriously in the future. But what isn't broken are the lifelong friendships that I've made playing this game. But what still is broken is the fact that Mega Kangaskhan still exists, and they should just take away its Megastone. Like, just don't. Just don't. God. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Huge shout outs to all the awesome people that did interviews with me. Please check out their YouTubes, their Twitters, their everything. They're just really great people. And please don't forget to click in that like button, and heck, why not subscribe? We have this Pokemon Professor series every single week, and it's a series where we overanalyze Pokemon. There's a video on Togedemaru right there that I made last week, and I would love for you guys to check that out. So please, just give it a little viewy. Give it a little viewy if you want. Also, big ups to the head TO of AON Gaming, Face, for allowing me to just make this documentary at AON Gaming. If you're in the Long Island area, please, please, please come on out and compete with us. It is so much fun. And if you're not in the Long Island area, please give their YouTube a check out. They also have a Twitch stream, and they post some hype sets. Super hype. Oh my god, I still can't get over the fissure that Nips got last week. Oh my god, just play that clip one more time.
We're gonna see the weakness policy that we've seen before on the Gigalith.
That one comes as no surprise.
Definitely. Oh my gosh!
No!
The Dugtrio lands the fissure on the guard!
charge up!
Look at Nibs!
Are you kidding me?
Nibs is looking dead into the camera.
Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for more Pokemon content. And next week, we will discuss the jank that is Battle Bond Greninja.
Even with the abilities are great to a degree. They're great to a degree. If you're watching this, Nintendo, I'm talking to you. I'm looking you dead in the eye. Two things. One, let's make Mega Flygon a thing. I love him. I need him. And you know what? Just give him like a version of Aerialate, but for ground moves. I'd really appreciate that. Like, I don't know.